Hey everybody, today we are going to talk about rational numbers. Okay, so first of all we got to look at what kinds of numbers do we actually have. What is a rational number? So we start out with natural numbers. Okay, natural numbers are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on forever. Okay, then somebody added 0 to that and they call that the whole numbers. And then we talked last unit about integers. That was adding negatives. So you're taking all of these and you're adding -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on to negative infinity. So rational numbers are actually numbers that can be written as a fraction. Okay, so -2.8 is a rational number, because you can write that as a fraction if you want to. 3.5, 7/3, -6 1/3. So all your mixed numbers, your fractions, even your improper fractions, and all your decimals that are terminating decimals, those are rational numbers, plus all of these in here. Okay, so next question, what is a terminating decimal? Well, it's a decimal that ends. Okay, so like 0.5, 0.125, 3.67296. Okay, those are all terminating decimals because they have an end. Okay, now what's a repeating decimal? A repeating decimal is a decimal that has a repeating pattern. So maybe the simplest one is 1/3. 1/3 is 0.33333 forever, and we write it like this. 0.3 with a bar over it. Okay? It just goes on forever. You can't really write it down. Okay? If I had 0.625, if that just kept repeating, okay, so I could write it as 0.625 with a bar over it like that, that is a repeating decimal. There's a pattern. There has to be a pattern to it. Okay, so there's the numbers we're talking about so far. These are all your rational numbers. So again, your natural numbers, your whole numbers, your integers, and anything you can write as a fraction. Now, there are some numbers that you can't write as a fraction. We'll get into those later. Those are called real numbers, and those would be out here. They would include all of these plus some other numbers. Okay? All right, so write -2 1/4 as a decimal. Okay, so that's very simple to do. We just got to take the 1/4 and we got to divide it. So that's 1 divided by 4. Okay. So I'm going to put my decimal there. I'm going to put a 0. I'm going to bring my decimal up. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay. Subtract, I get 2. Put another 0, drop that down. 4 goes into 20 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. And it ends. So that's a terminating decimal. So 1/4 is 0.25. So I would write it -2 1/4 is -2.25. That's my terminating, or that's my decimal. Okay, write 5/11ths as a decimal. So remember, that's 5 divided by 11. So we're just going to do this. Put a decimal right there, add a 0. Okay, so 11 will go into 50 4 times. Make sure to bring your decimal up. 4 times 11 is 44. Subtract, that leaves 6. Drop another 0 down. Okay. 11 goes into 65 times. 5 times 11 is 55. Subtract, that leaves 5. Okay. Drop another 0 down. Now you can see it's going to start to repeat because here I got 50 and here I had 50. So that'll go in there 4 times. That's 44. That leaves me with 6 again. If I drop down another 0, I'm going to get a 5 here. So you can see it's just going to keep repeating 4s and 5s. So 5/11ths is 0.45 with a bar over the 4 and 5. Okay, so now here's what I want you to do. I want you to take these two, -3/11ths and 1 1/5, and I want you to pause the video and then go do these, write these as a decimal, and then come back here and check your answer. Okay, this is actually the harder one. So I'm just going to kind of ignore the negative for a minute. So this means 3 divided by 11. Put my decimal here, bring my decimal up. That will go in there twice, that's 22. That leaves me with 8. Drop down another 0. That will go in there 7 times. 7 times 11 is 77. Subtract, that leaves me with 3. Oh, look, my pattern's going to start over again, right? If I drop another 0, that's 30. So it's going to go in there 2 times. So that's 22. That's 8. Okay, drop another 0 down. That's going to go in there 7 times. So I can see that that's going to repeat. So -3/11ths, and I got to put a negative on the front of that because this is going to be a negative. That's just -0.27 with a bar over it, just like that. Okay, this one's pretty easy. You don't have to deal with the 1 here at first. You just got to remember to put it back on at the end. So this is 1 divided by 5. Okay. Put my decimal right there. That goes in there 2 times. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Oh, that terminated really quickly. Okay, so I got to put the 1 back on. So this is 1 1/5 is just 1.2. And you're done. Okay. Very simple. Moving on. Okay, write -0.26 as a fraction in simplest form. Okay, so on this one, you got to know your column. So this is the tenths column, this is the hundredths column, right? So this is, if you really read this properly, this is negative. It's not -0.26, it's -26/100ths. Okay, so I'm just going to write it like that, -26/100ths. And now I have to reduce it. So 2 will go into both of those. So it'll go into 26 13 times, and it will go in there 50 times. And I can't do any more because 13's prime. So that's my answer. So now what I want you to do is go ahead and pause this video, take 0.125, and write that as a fraction in simplest form. Okay? So pause the video and do that. Okay, so if I really read 0.125 is 125/1000ths. Okay, so here's tenths, hundredths, thousandths. All right, now I just got to reduce it. So I know that 5 will go into both of those. In fact, I know 25 will go into both of those. 25 will go in here 5 times. And 25 will go in there 40 times. 25 will go into 104 times and add a 0, so that's 40. And so, I can reduce this even more because 5 will go into both of those. So 5 will go in there once, and 5 will go in there 8 times. So this is 1/8. So hopefully you got that one right. Okay, the table shows the elevations of 4 sea creatures relative to sea level. Which of the sea creatures are deeper than the whale? So you got the anglerfish is at -1 or -13 kilometers. A squid is at -2 1/5 kilometers. A shark is at -2 kilometers, and a whale is at -0.8 kilometers. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is to just convert these all into decimals, because it's easier to tell if decimals are larger or smaller than another decimal than fractions. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would take the -13, and you can divide that. You're going to get -1.3. Okay, so this one's -1.3 right here. And this, well, we already figured out that 1/5 is 0.2. We figured that out back here. Where did we do that? Yeah, down here. 1/5 was 0.2. So this is -2.2. A shark was at -2/11. So that's 2 divided by 11. That's going to go in there one time. That's 11. Subtract. That's 9. Drop down to 0. It's going to go in there 8 times. 8 times 11 is 88. Subtract. That's going to be 2. It's going to start my pattern over again. So this is going to be -0.18 repeating. And then the whale, we already know, that one's -0.8. So, now it's easy to put them in order. All right, so which one is deeper than the whale? Well, the squid is definitely deeper than the whale. So the squid is the deepest one. And next is the anglerfish. And then the whale comes next. And the shallowest one is the shark. So these two are deeper than the whale. Okay, now the next question says, if the elevation of a dolphin is -1/10 of a kilometer, which of the sea creatures in the example above are deeper than the dolphin? So -1/10, we should be able to do that one in our head, but we're going to go ahead and work it out. So that's 1 divided by 10, just like that. There's a point. Hey, that goes in there one time. That's 0. So this is -0.1. Okay, so which ones are deeper than the dolphin? All of them. All of them are deeper than the dolphin. So, piece of cake. So that brings us to our assignment, which we'll do in class. So I will see you guys later.